Welcome. We are a go for launch. Welcome to the Ready, Set, Go LaunchEd virtual Q&A session that'll focus on the LaunchEd at home model. My name is Marielle Milano. I'm the Director for Digital Curriculum with Orange County Public Schools at the district level. And our department is led by Maurice Dragon, our Senior Director for Digital Learning. He is finishing up at a press event right now, but may join us in just a little bit. So this afternoon, we are going to present content from a broad array of teams, including asset and risk management, communications, facilities, information technology, finance, safety and security. But Maurice and I work with the Division of Teaching and Learning, and that's our area of expertise. So one of the things I wanted to start with is reminding our middle school and high school families that the LaunchEd digital learning program is not new. You have been part of the LaunchEd digital learning program for several years. Our LaunchEd digital learning program began in 2013 with our first 7 pilot schools where we gave every child a device. Over the last 6 years, we've expanded the digital learning program to include devices for all of our middle school and high school students, as well as all of our elementary school students. And this year, for the first time in August of 2020, we will be able to be fully digital, one-to-one in all of our schools, which we are so excited about. And the timing really couldn't be better because we know that our students will be starting the school year at home, okay? So let's go ahead and dig a little further in. For those that are just joining us, this session is for family members of any middle school or high school student who will be participating in the LaunchEd at Home model at any of our schools beginning on August 10th. So this session is designed to provide you just what you need just in time. We'll be sharing information about the what today. The what specifically is LaunchEd at Home, how exactly will it work, and then over the course of the next week, your school will be pushing out digital support resources to parents. Some of your schools might be having a digital orientation or an open house kind of event where you can get online and learn about tools. Some may be posting those resources to their website, and some may be posting those resources on social media. But those resources will focus specifically on the how-to component. Many of your schools will be sharing information today and through the weekend on how to log on for live lessons on Monday. So today's session, you'll be able to ask all of your questions about the what, and your schools will be sharing lots of information in the coming days about the how. After today's session, you should be able to understand what digital learning is and be able to identify the specific changes it may be bringing to your family this fall. In particular, we're going to cover questions that have come up in 3 big buckets. Those 3 buckets are, what is digital learning and what will it look like at home? What changes can you expect as a parent? And how can you help prepare your child? Now, since today's session is going to be all about digital learning at home, I want to be clear about what our definition for digital learning is. And remember that digital learning isn't new. In our district, it began way back in 2013, but it also is something that is defined in state statute in Florida. And so Florida has been moving in the direction of digital learning, both in school and, of course, virtually for a long time. And they've defined digital learning as high-quality content that occurs in online courses, personalized digital learning, a way for students to show what they know in their courses, high-quality content and instructional materials in a digital format, online and blended learning courses, high-quality digital instruction provided by teachers, the online administration of some of our assessments, and digital tools for creation, collaboration, and communication. So it's way more than just passing out devices to our students. So as you begin to transition into this LaunchEd at Home model this year, You are going to see some classes to, of course, the classroom environment, but also some tweaks to classroom curriculum, classroom instruction, and the homeschool connection. Let's start with the instructional model. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, with Launchpad at Home, students will use technology to support learning every day at your home in a whole group, small group, and individual instruction format provided by a remote teacher. But that teacher will be live. It will look different than it did in the spring. Now, we are not saying that every little thing that a student does during Launchpad at Home will be on the computer. There will be opportunities for students to work offline and use paper-based resources. In our district, we like to say that we're moving from paper full to paper purpose. So while students do still have access to instructional materials that can be in a print format, we use them only when the electronic or digital format doesn't give us an added benefit, or when it's developmentally not appropriate. For example, if we were going to take a worksheet and turn it into a PDF and put it on the computer, and all it was a place for students to write their answers, there might not be a lot of value in putting it online. But if that worksheet included a flipped learning video at the top now and a way for students to get automated feedback, then it would give us a lot of benefit and it would make more sense for the teacher to use the digital version. So that's a good example of moving from paper full to paper purpose. This year, you are very used to in middle school and high school that the vast majority of textbooks are provided online. There are some examples of courses, specifically in advanced placement, where there are some hardback textbooks, but most of our textbooks are provided in middle school and high school in a digital format, and they have been for a long time. As a reminder, your students will access their textbooks through their Launchpad, and Launchpad can be accessed at launch or launchpad.ocps.net. When your child goes into Launchpad, they will have an icon starting today that says My Backpack. And when you click on My Backpack, you will see your child's course schedule, and it will also have all of the textbooks and digital platforms that they need listed next to each course to make it easy for students to find what they need at home. Now, let's talk specifically about the most common questions we've gotten from parents about learning at home. First off, your child, just as they always have in middle school and high school, will be provided with a laptop. If your child has younger siblings, this year they will also be providing laptops in elementary school for students in grades 2 through 5 and iPads for students in K and 1. If your child had a laptop last year, they're going to use the same laptop that they kept through the summer for this school year. Nothing special needs to happen, but we do recommend that students go in and reset their password at studentid.ocps.net. It's always a good idea to reset your password at the start of the school year for security purposes. Now, that laptop is going to have received updates over the start of the school year. We push those updates wirelessly, so you don't have to come to school. But it will be super important for parents to make sure that their kiddo has a charged laptop ready for Monday and that they've turned it on and restarted it to get those updates before Monday. In the spring, our students were learning at home, and there were many families that had challenges with internet connectivity. So here's some examples of ways that the district can support you in ensuring your child is connected at home starting on Monday. First of all, there's a free community Wi-Fi map on our district website at digital.ocps.net. There's also information about low-cost internet through the Connect to Compete program, and that's supported by our local cable providers. Typically, students qualify if they are qualified for free or reduced lunch, and those programs are available through Spectrum, Comcast, and CenturyLink. Prices vary, but they're typically around $13.95 a month. In addition, just as we have had for the past several years, at the middle school and high school level, students can apply for hotspots on a first-come, first-served basis. Those hotspots include unlimited data every month, complimentary. Your students can apply for a hotspot by clicking on the hotspot link on their Launchpad, which again is at launch.ocps.net, or parents can access the survey link at digital.ocps.net. One of the questions that a lot of our families have had is about internet filtering. At the middle school and high school level, we recognize that many families set their own boundaries around internet use at home, and that your filtering may be different than ours. And so it's important for you to realize that your child's device is filtered by OCPS even when it is at your house. Our students are in different internet filters based on their age, elementary, middle, and high school. For example, there might be some types of content that you may allow in your home that will not get through the internet filter for us. A good example of that is some forms of social media. Social media is blocked on our district laptops for elementary and middle school students. Beginning in high school, certain social media platforms that are available based on instructional use by the teacher, but it's not every social media platform. For example, high school students can access YouTube. Elementary students cannot. High school students can access Facebook and Twitter. Elementary and middle school students cannot. And so just because your child gets an error message or a web page doesn't load at home doesn't mean that the device is broken. It's also important for you to know as a parent that every internet activity is logged by the student's number. Our safety is our top priority for our students. Another question that we've gotten from our families is, have you bought a new LaunchEd at Home platform? No, and I wish they hadn't used the word platform. LaunchEd at Home is really a learning model, and we're using our existing platforms to make that model happen. Students will use Canvas in combination with a web conferencing platform, either Microsoft Teams or Big Blue Button. Now, your students have had access to Canvas for several years at the middle school and high school level. And it's a good reminder for parents that Canvas is the equivalent to a school. When students walk through the door of their middle school and high school every day, they are presented with a series of doors that they can go through, a way for them to get to their classrooms. Canvas is the same. When students click on Canvas and enter Canvas each morning, they will be presented with a series of icons. Those icons are like doors, and they tell them which class they are to go to. For example, it may say Period 1 Algebra or Period 2 Civics. When they click on those tiles, it's like entering the door to a classroom. It's important to remember that the LaunchEd at Home model follows the same bell schedule as your middle school or high school. So if your high school started at 7:25 each morning, then that is the time that your students will need to click on that first period title. If school in your area for middle school ends at 3:30 or 3:40, that is the time that students will stop learning in their last class period. Students will access each tile at the same time as the bell schedule they would have followed in a face-to-face environment. So, what is a web conference similar to? A web conference is similar to classroom live instruction. And as a reminder, that instruction will happen through Microsoft Teams or Big Blue Button. Here's an example of what a live lesson looks like to students. Your student, as you see on the left, will be able to see their instructor and the other peers in their classroom. They will also be able to unmute their microphone and speak to the teacher and other students in the class. The teacher will also be able to see and speak to the students and will be able to share their screen, much like I'm doing now, to share presentations, videos, and other documents. In this screenshot, the teacher is showing an example of their course and navigating students to a specific resource. Teachers will also be able to monitor students live. They will see all students live on their screen because student web cameras will be on. Depending upon the program that the teacher is using, like Google Docs or Nearpod, the teacher will also be able to see students completing work in real time on the screen, just as if they were peeking over their shoulder. Okay, so I know a big concern for families is online safety. And online safety is a big concern for us as well. So this year, your students will, as they have for the past several years, take required digital citizenship lessons at the start of the school year. Those digital citizenship lessons will include information about internet responsibility and safety. Your students will also have access to digital tools at home. Those digital tools will include Google Drive, Gmail, Google Jamboard, Google Docs, Google Drawings, Google Sheets, Google Forms, and Google Calendar. These are not new tools. Your students have had access to these the entire time they've been in middle school and high school in previous years, but they'll be even more reliant on them now because all of their work will be stored inside of Google Drive. Students will be able to store their work in Google Drive and access it from any device. They will be able to submit their assignments in Canvas through Google Drive. Our hope is that as we begin to continue to transition to digital learning, that students will complete far fewer worksheet and kind of static assignments and things that are more dynamic, like public service announcements, podcasts, comics, digital posters, creating their own ebooks, infographics, e-newspapers, video tutorials, blogs, and maybe even one day their own website. It'll be important for parents to remember that you have not had a planner at the secondary level in several years. And while most of our secondary students are self-sufficient, it is critical that parents join the Canvas Parent app so that they can see their child's Canvas planner at home. The Canvas planner is color-coded by the course that your child is enrolled in. It will include any upcoming assignments with due dates, events, and potentially even links to live lessons. If you've used Canvas before, you're aware that the Canvas Parent app can be accessed through the OCPS Parent Portal, which is the same place you find Skyward, or it can be accessed on your phone through the Canvas Parent mobile application. That application is available for iOS or Apple and Android devices. Inside the Canvas Parent website or app, you can see all of your child's courses, their grades on assignments that were completed in Canvas. You can also see their past assignments and their current assignments, including what they turned in. You can also see course announcements from the teacher. What I really like about Canvas Parent, though, is I have 4 daughters myself that range in age from preschool to senior year in high school. So it's a party every day at our house. And inside of the Canvas Parent app, I can set different notifications for each student. I can set notifications to receive an alert as a parent if my child receives a grade below a certain level, if they receive a grade above a certain level and perhaps need some praise. I can also receive a notification every time my child has a missing assignment, meaning something that wasn't turned in by the due date. If there was a specific course announcement I needed to have access to, I can also decide how I want to receive those notifications. For me, email is not the best method because I get so much work email. So I can get those notifications either through SMS text message on my phone, through Twitter, or through email. Now, I know that parents, even though you may be familiar with digital learning since high schools have had devices and middle schools have had devices for some time, you likely have questions about LaunchEd at home. So I'd like to spend the rest of our time together answering those questions. However, I need to set some ground rules. I can answer questions as the Director of Digital Curriculum on things like video conferencing, live streaming, Canvas, all of the digital tools and apps, student tech support, parent support, device availability, hotspots, and things like that. There are a few things, though, that our department is not experts in. And those things include COVID-19 health and safety procedures, staffing questions about who your child's teacher is or what specific course your child is going to be assigned to. I do not have access to personal student schedules at this computer. And I also can't answer specific questions about one student's IEP or 504 plan, though I can answer questions about curriculum accessibility. The first question that I see is, can students use their own devices? So the answer is yes. At the middle school and high school level, our students have had the opportunity to what we call BYOD, or bring your own device, for a long time. Now, if you're going to BYOD, however, the device has to be the same platform and type as the one that we have at school. So for example, for a middle school or high school student, it will need to be a Windows 10 laptop. It cannot be something like a MacBook Air, and let me tell you why. When our students and our teachers are planning for lessons, they plan for all of the software that is downloaded on our students' devices, which is the software that comes natively with a Windows 10 device. In addition, when teachers are giving students directions about how to complete an assignment, they have to know that those directions will work the same way that it does on their device. And it won't work the same way if your child has an iPad or MacBook. And so it is necessary that if you bring your own device, it is Windows and it is a laptop. You can find more information, including the form that you need to complete, at byd.ocps.net. Do you need to download anything for Big Blue Button or Microsoft Teams? No, you don't. Your student will access their live lesson links inside their Canvas course. When they open their Canvas course and enter into, let's say, period 1 on Monday, they will see an announcement from their teacher that will give them the link to their live lesson, whether that's in Microsoft Teams or Big Blue Button. That link is going to open Big Blue Button inside of the browser, meaning the web, or it's going to open Microsoft Teams inside the browser. Your students should also have a locally downloaded version of Microsoft Teams that's been pushed to their computer. But if you don't see it, it's okay. They can do the Teams over the web. The first time your child opens Microsoft Teams, it might ask them to log in. It shouldn't, but it might. And if it does, they're going to log in with their email address. Their email address has not changed. It's their student number at students with an S, .ocps.net. And their password is the same password they would use to get into their device. May I please repeat the hotspot information? Absolutely. The hotspots can be requested on a student Launchpad by clicking on the hotspot request form or at digital.ocps.net. For a student that's new to OCPS, how do you get set up in Canvas and all these other things? It's automatically set up for you. As soon as your child gets a device and you, the very first time you turn on that device at school, they prompted you to set up your password. And so as soon as your child has that username, which is their student number, and their password set up, they can log into Launchpad and everything is linked. You don't need anything else. Are we still buying swivel cameras? So you might have heard at the board meeting on the day that we approved the innovative plan that there was a request that we not purchase swivel cameras at the district level. Schools can still purchase cameras in the situations that they need them, but our teachers will be able to use existing equipment, including our existing audio enhancement, presentation stations, and their laptops and webcam to deliver the same quality instruction. And you'll still be able to see your teacher live. How do you set up a parent account? So you will need to go to the OCPS parent portal to set up your account. And here is, let's see, here is that link right here. Our child has been told by the teacher that students participating in Launchpad at Home can see the teacher, but not other students due to confidentiality. Is that true? That's a good question. For the first 9 days of school, when all students are at home, all student webcams will be on, so they will be able to see each other. I think what that teacher might be referencing is when students return to school face-to-face, for those parents who chose the face-to-face model starting the 21st, those students will be physically in the classroom, but the camera will be trained on the teacher, much like it is for me right now. So if I was in a classroom, the students would be over there and you wouldn't be able to see those students face to face in the classroom. You would be seeing me. But at home, when everyone's online, you can see everyone through their webcam. Where can I set up notifications in Canvas Parent? Great question. You can go over to your profile and click on Settings, and that's where you'll set up your notification. If our home internet is not able to support multiple students online at the same time, can we request a hotspot? Yes, you may. How do I change my child's password? Your child can change their password by visiting studentid.ocps.net. What time does my child's school start? Please visit your child's website, for your child's high school website or middle school website for their school to look for the start and end times. They're right on the front page. Does my child need to take all their classes through Launchpad at Home, or is it just core classes? That's a great question. So all classes, periods 1 through 7, are done through Launchpad at Home. Will face-to-face students starting on the 21st be logged into their computer the whole time? So face-to-face students will be using their computers in class just like they always have, but they are not required to be logged into the video conference. They may be logged into the other materials like Canvas, but they don't necessarily have to be in the video conference. Will an adult located in another area be able to log in and watch classroom lessons while students are logged in? No. Our Canvas platform and the live lessons are limited to our students. They are not designed for parents to participate in. Can my child use a Windows 10 desktop at home? That's a great question. They could use a Windows 10 desktop, but it would need to have a web camera, and not all desktops come included with that. But they could use a desktop while they were at home that's Windows 10. My child's having a technical problem, what do I do? So if your child is having a technical problem with the device that you've picked up, we have a ticket for a website for that. You should see a sticker on their website with this information, but if you don't, for some reason, it is studenttechrequest.ocps.net. They can also get to that website from their Launchpad, and you can put in a ticket for their computer. You're going to include like the barcode on the computer, and then they will either be able to fix that issue remotely, or they can make an appointment for you to switch out your device. Is there a separate link for each class? There is a separate link for each teacher. Those links are located in Canvas. Once students return to school on the 21st, for those parents who selected face-to-face, will there be a mix of students? It depends on the school and the teacher, right? Because we also have to honor the requests of our teachers and their health and safety needs. So when students, when face-to-face students have the opportunity to return on the 21st, they may be in a class period of all face-to-face students with no one online. They may be in a class period with some face-to-face students with them and some online. That's going to vary by school, by class period, because it really is about the needs of the local community. Are there any supplies I need to buy for LaunchEd at home? That is a fantastic question. So there isn't a specific supply list, but here's what I suggest. If your child is going to be at home and anyone else is going to be learning at home or working at home, then I would recommend a good set of earphones that are super comfortable. They don't have to have a microphone attached, but it might be useful to have a microphone attached. And you can use either the headphones that have the normal headphone jack that are listen only, you can use USB headphones, or you can use Bluetooth headphones. I also recommend that if your child has a touchscreen device, that they have a stylus. Here's mine, but you can get them anywhere from Dollar Tree to Staples. So there's a large variety of those out there, but that allows for our students to write and draw on the screen, much like they're doing on a piece of paper. It is a more comfortable experience. How do I access Canvas? So when you, the first thing you need to do is make sure you have an OCPS parent portal account. Okay, that's the very first thing you need to do. Once you have an OCPS parent portal account, you can log into the parent portal and click on the Canvas icon and it will take you right through. Okay, so you can't set up your account for the first time on the app. You have to set it up in the OCPS parent portal. Okay, will children be able to change their classes? That is a school-based question. I work at the district level and I do not control local school schedules. Do you need a webcam to participate in classes? Yes, you do. You need a webcam. That's why we provide a webcam with every device. If my 8th grader still has his laptop and he's going to high school, does he have to return the middle school laptop? He does not. He can bring his laptop with him from 8th grade to the high school for 9th grade. How do they sign in for Teams? Remember, it is their email address, which is their student number at students.ocps.net, and their password is the same as the computer. My child is new to OCPS and I don't know their schedule. What can I do? So if you have picked up the computer, as soon as they log into Canvas, you'll see their schedule because you're going to see every class that they're registered for right there. If you have not picked up a device, please reach out to your child's school. If they're asking, can I repeat what my recommendation was? My recommendation for the start of school is if your child's laptop has been off all summer, let's say that they had their laptop and they put it in their desk because they've been relaxing for the summer, I recommend that you turn it on and restart it to ensure it's ready to go for the start of the school year. Student schedules are posted, and so you can see those schedules inside of Skyward. Again, that's the OCPS parent portal, and you're going to be able to see those by looking at your classes in Canvas. What happens if my child's laptop is slow? My daughter's laptop from last year was very slow, even though we had high-speed internet, and my laptop runs fast. So Amy, that's exactly when you want to put in a tech request, right? Have your child, a technical support representative at their school look at that. And if they need to, they can switch out the device. What is the Spectrum Internet discount called for those who qualify? It's the Connect to Compete program, and they'll be aware of it if you call them. It's for any student who qualifies for free and reduced lunch. Is it possible to disable your webcam? It is possible to turn off your webcam, but I want to repeat that the requirement is that during live lessons, students have their webcam on. Okay, one of our parents tried to sign in at the parent portal, and it says that they're not registered. Okay, so that could mean that the email address or phone number you're using to register is not the same one the school has on file with you, which is a big problem. So please call your school and ask to speak to the registrar, and they can help you update your information. My student does not have Teams on their device. What should I do? Nothing. It'll download automatically and they can join Teams via Google Chrome. They just have to click on the link that the teacher gives them, so there's nothing to worry about at all. Is it mandatory for students to be on camera? During live lessons, teachers will request that the student laptop camera is on, and they need to do that. When is laptop pickup? If you don't have a laptop for some reason at this point for a middle school and high school student, please reach out to your child's school. They have laptops available and they can assist you with the checkout process. When we return to school, if I choose to after the first 9 weeks, will my child have the same schedule and teachers they had virtually? I cannot promise that. And the reason for that is because not all of our teachers will be able to return to school after the first 9 weeks. Some of them have specific health and safety concerns, and we have to be aware and sensitive to those as well. So any changes will come through your child's school and they'll let you know. I asked this question earlier in the week, but I want to be sure. Will the child have to log in each period at the time the class begins? Yes. If Microsoft Teams isn't accepting my child's password, do we need to reach out to the school? I would recommend resetting your password if that's the case. I know you cannot discuss 504 plans for my child, but who can? Your child's staffing specialist and school principal. Can I see my son's schedule in Canvas today? Yes. Would I recommend having a notebook at home for your students? It kind of depends, right? If your child is the kind of person who likes to write things down with a pencil and paper, then yeah, absolutely. But if your child is okay with typing notes, then it maybe doesn't need to happen that way. So that's up to you. Why do cameras need to be on in a live lesson? So that your teacher can monitor your student and so that the student can raise their hand and ask questions, so the students and the teachers can interact as if they were face-to-face. If you want an asynchronous model, right, where it's all self-paced, that would be what OCVS is. LaunchEd at Home is not a self-paced model. It is live instruction that is synchronous in real time with your child's teacher. If for some reason your child's schedule isn't up on Launchpad, or I'm sorry, on Skyward right now, give it till the end of the day. People are loading still. How much grace time is there after the bell schedule? So there's still the normal amount of time between each class period, which is about 6 to 9 minutes, depending on the school. My child's schedule does not have period 1. What does this mean? It probably just means they haven't finished scheduling for period 1. Again, check back before Monday and they will fix it. Can I use a Mac desktop? Remember, if you're doing BYOD, it needs to be the same platform as what we use at home. It's not, or at school. It's not to say that you cannot access Canvas, but the challenge is that your teachers will not be able to support your children with any troubleshooting or anything like that. Is LaunchEd at Home only for the children who picked the innovative model? No, everyone will be doing LaunchEd at Home for the first 9 days. And then on the 21st, students who chose face-to-face will return to school. So for the first 9 days, everyone in the district, K-12, is doing LaunchEd at Home. And then after that, face-to-face students will return to school and people that selected innovative learning will continue at home. When you say live class, does that really mean live? Yes, just like this, the teacher will be on instruction. My child has My Backpack app on his dashboard. Is that the same place he'll find his textbook? So you should see something that says My Backpack. If you see that icon and you click on it, you'll see your child's schedule and the books next to each class period for their schedule. Big Blue Button did not work well last year. Has there been anything done to mitigate these issues? Yes. We've tripled the amount of Big Blue Button servers, and we're using Microsoft Teams as an additional alternative. This presentation will be posted at digital.ocps.net along with the recording. Is the Canvas app different from the ClassLink app? Yes, it is. So remember I said ClassLink, my analogy is that ClassLink is kind of like a city. It has all the apps, all the different places you can choose to visit. But Canvas is like the school. You click on Canvas inside Launchpad and it takes you into your child's school. Where do I find the link to Canvas? On Launchpad. Will children be marked absent and tardy? Yes, they will be marked absent and tardy. If they are not present for the live lesson, they will be marked absent. If they're late for school, they'll be marked tardy just like normal. Will lessons be recorded? That's a great question. The district does not require that lessons are recorded. That's up to each individual teacher and what they're comfortable with. I just want to make sure, my question is will they click on Canvas on Monday and click on their class icon to get started? Yes, they will. Good job. When will my child go to lunch? The same schedule they use at school. So whenever children are scheduled to go to lunch face-to-face at your school is when your child will receive a break for lunch at your home. Do teachers have to record lessons? No, they don't. What happens if I don't know my child's username or password? If you don't know your child's student number, then you can get that through Skyward or by calling the child's school. If you don't know your child's password and they're in middle school and high school, they can reset their password, but at studentid.ocps.net. If you're in elementary school, you'll need to call your child's school. When will we be receiving laptops for our children? So if you have not received a laptop yet, please contact your child's school. Device distribution will be continuing today and in some cases on Saturday and Sunday. Let's see, can I use a second monitor? Sure, you can hook up a second monitor, no problem. Are we allowed to print? You are allowed to print, but you're not required to print. Is it too late to get a laptop's camera fixed by Monday? I would contact your child's school today if that's the case. They may have to swap out the device. I can't find the backpack icon. Do you know where it is? On Launchpad, and there's a search bar at the top, so you can search for My Backpack. If for some reason it's not there yet, give it till the end of the day. Schedules are being updated as we speak. If my child has home internet problems during the day, what do I do? Email your teacher. Is it possible to change your electives? Contact your child's school. If you've chosen LaunchEd, what do you do on the 21st? You continue learning at home, so you'll do the same thing you're doing for the first 10 days. My child is taking multiple IB classes. Do they need physical books? If you need to pick up books, your school will tell you. Otherwise, everything you need is online. In an emergency, like if my child forgot to charge their battery, can they use a personal device? Yes, they can. If a child's absent, is a doctor's note needed? The same exact rules that follow during face-to-face. If your child is absent and you want it to be marked excused, you would provide that documentation. Can you request physical books for LaunchEd? So that's an interesting question. Before LaunchEd, okay, in middle school and high school, like the last 3 years, we have not sent physical books home at night. So they may not be there. If your child needs physical books for the purpose of an IEP or a 504, then your staffing specialist will request those through the district and we can get those to you. If I'm ready to resume face-to-face after the first 9 weeks, how do I do that? Your school will contact you and there will be a registration change form after the first 9 weeks in mid-October where you can switch to face-to-face if you elect to do that. If your password is not working, what do? I would again recommend the myid.ocps.net. Can my child switch to face-to-face at any time? Not exactly. As the superintendent described, your commitment is through the first 9 weeks at least. But if your child is having significant academic problems, then the principal will discuss potential options with you. But in general, everybody will stay through the first 9 weeks. In mid-October, they will give you the option to switch to face-to-face. Is there still going to be early release on Wednesdays? Awesome question. We have heard nothing about changes to early release. My child does not have the pair with observer button for Canvas. You don't need an observer code. Go back to the app and you're going to choose I already have an account because you've already set it up in the parent portal. Are we going to get packets? No, packets are not part of the LaunchEd at Home program. Will LaunchEd teachers remain the same for the whole school year? They'll remain the same for the first semester that you're online, but again, when people return face-to-face, there may be some changes. Is there a time or place where kids will be able to socialize? So that's a great question. Some of our our schools are setting up channels in Microsoft Teams for lunch, so that children can kind of pop in and have casual conversations with other people. But there will be time for lunch, like a break from instruction, as well as breaks in between each class period. Can I install the Microsoft Teams app on my own? No. Students do not have admin access on their computers. The app will be pushed automatically. Where are Canvas conferences? Inside of your child's course in Canvas. So when you log into Canvas, you'll click on that tile that says period 1 or period 2. And once you're inside that course, you'll see conferences is listed on the left-hand side of the screen. Will music classes be available for LaunchED at Home students? Yes, they are working diligently on that, but music, art, physical education, everything will be online. What if the teacher is writing on the board? Will students at home be able to see it? Yes. We have figured out a way to share the Smartboard screen on the screen in Microsoft Teams in Big Blue Button, so you can see it big, just like you can see my slideshow right now. Some folks are asking again, just like, hey, how is everything going to work for Monday? So again, on Monday, what you're going to do is you're going to turn your child's computer on, or they're going to turn their computer on. You're going to click on Google Chrome, which should open up automatically to Launchpad. You're going to log into Launchpad, and then you will pick the Canvas app. Because remember, Launchpad is like a city, and Canvas is like your school. You'll click on Canvas, and then inside of Canvas, you'll see their schedule, period 1, period 2, period 3, or for elementary school, you'll see the teacher's name, okay? Then you'll click on that course, and it will take you inside of the school. This is interesting. My Canvas parent account still has my child's middle school instead of high school. Your Canvas parent account will change over on Monday, which is the first day of school, if it hasn't already. How is PE going to work in LaunchED? Very carefully. So we are going to be able in PE to be able to provide instruction. So for example, a PE coach might demonstrate a specific skill to students, and students might need to do that skill at home. They'll also be able to provide instructional videos and assignments, which is something that happened during the school day as well. How do I print at home? So one thing that is important to know is you can't install software. So you do need to have either a wireless printer or a printer that works through Bluetooth. I did make a note that you don't see those directions. So one place that you can look is on digital.ocps.net. There is something called a Family Technology Handbook. And in that handbook are the directions for printing. My child was accepted to OCVS, and I'm not sure what to do from there. Okay, so you will receive contact from their teacher to get them started with OCVS. I'm not over that particular program, but if you're concerned, my recommendation would be going to ocvs.ocps.net and calling the school to get more information. In Windows, folder renaming has been locked. This is particularly an issue when folders are made for classroom organization. So let me clarify something for you. Your child should not be saving documents locally on their computer. They're going to save everything in their Google Drive. And Google Drive has folder renaming unlocked, so they can use any organizational structure that they need to. How do you provide documentation if the child is absent? The same way you do normally. You would email that documentation to your child's registrar or school. When you say student ID is not working, my guess is that it is prompting you to log in. You may need to go to your child's school to reset their password for the first time. Perhaps it hasn't been connected to the network. I am not sure since I'm not with you, But my recommendation would be you can even drive into the parking lot at your child's school if you need to connect to the school network and double check on that password, okay? Do you need a printer at home? No. Hi, and how many hours will my child be online? So again, it's different for elementary school than middle and high school. That's why we did our elementary sessions earlier in the week. But for middle school and high school, you are going to be following the standard bell schedule. So your children will attend live lessons for all 7 periods. We have some folks who are asking, my student can see their schedule, but in Canvas Parent, it doesn't look like it's updated. It just may be syncing for the first time because schedules were released today and they should all be available by Monday. All right, can I connect my school issued laptop to my big screen TV? Wow, that is an exciting question. Yes, you could use your HDMI cord to see the teacher in big screen, I suppose, if that is important. So there are just 2 or 3 more questions that I see here. And so I want to clarify a couple things. One of the questions is, will teachers be teaching the first 9 days, or will it all be like technology? No, there will be content taught the first 9 days. That is why it is so critical that all of our students are able to attend those first 9 days. In the Canvas Parent app, it has the wrong guardian. Contact your child's school because that's what it says in Skyward. It's pulling all that information from Skyward. Can I pick up a laptop for Florida Virtual School? No, we don't provide laptops for Florida Virtual School. How will students pick up their lunches remotely? So each school will be providing you a schedule, but you'll be able to pick up lunches once a week for the whole week. Can my child still do dual enrollment? Yes, and they will be able to attend classes online. What if I only see one of my 2 children in the OCPS parent portal? So that's probably because when you registered your children, a different guardian was listed as the primary guardian when you first registered. So it could be as simple as, you know, mom and dad went in together and mom's name was first the first time and dad's name was first the second time. So contact your child's school and they can help you with that. Students should not save materials on their desktop. Is that correct? Only through Google Drive. That is correct. Because if your child's computer breaks and you go in and swap it out, you will lose all of the files locally stored. So everything needs to be stored in the cloud. I just want to make sure, are teachers teaching only virtual students, or will they have a mixed blend on the 21st? As I said, it is going to be up to the school and maybe even different by each class period. So it is possible that on the 21st, students who return face-to-face will be in a class of all face-to-face students, or a class with some students at home and some students in school. Do OCVS students receive laptops? Yes, they do, and you can pick up your Orange County Virtual School laptop from Orange County Virtual School.